My incredibly arrogant older brother stood in the center of our late parents' grand estate, pointed his expensive leather shoe directly at my paint-stained work boots, and coldly sneered, "You are nothing but a bottom-feeding, wallpaper-peeling peasant. Strip the old floral paper in the basement safe room by tomorrow morning for free, or I will ensure the estate lawyers permanently erase you from the family will." He delivered this deeply calculated, life-altering ultimatum with a condescending, predatory smirk, perfectly playing the part of the undisputed financial patriarch who had just seized absolute control of our family's entire inheritance. He demanded I quietly provide backbreaking, heavily discounted manual labor to prepare the property for a lucrative real estate flip, treating me less like his own flesh and blood and entirely like a pathetic indentured servant who should be incredibly grateful just to breathe the conditioned air inside his immaculate property. The entire sprawling basement corridor immediately descended into a suffocating, heavy silence. His inner circle of wealthy, parasitic real estate investors and sycophantic friends who had invaded the property to celebrate his massive acquisition simply laughed into their crystal glasses, completely participating in my public humiliation. His new wife, completely manipulated by his relentless financial conditioning, simply stared down at her expensive designer phone, completely refusing to defend her own brother-in-law. I was the absolute pariah of my own bloodline, the solitary blue-collar worker surrounded by a tight circle of self-appointed social elites who firmly believed my calloused hands equated to a severe lack of intelligence. I felt entirely isolated, drowning in a manufactured social dynamic where my professional dignity was systematically erased. I knew with absolute certainty that if I raised my voice to defend my rightful place in that family, I would instantly be labeled as an unstable, jealous failure, attacking the generous, triumphant new head of the household. I did not argue with his calculated insult. I simply picked up my heavy steel wallpaper scraper, gave him a hollow, obedient nod, and completely disappeared into the damp, freezing darkness of the basement room to handle the demolition. What my brother completely failed to realize, what none of my parasitic family knew because they were entirely too blinded by their own arrogance to ever ask about my actual career, was that I had not been a standard residential painter for over a decade. Over the last 10 years, I had quietly secured elite, highly specialized federal credentials. I became a licensed forensic behavioral auditor and a master environmental crime scene investigator, heavily contracted by federal task forces to sweep high-value properties for severe psychological hazards and concealed architectural deviations. I was the invisible scalpel slicing through the elaborate physical lives of deeply disturbed individuals. While my brother was busy bragging at exclusive country clubs, I had become an absolute master of forensic architectural reconstruction, learning exactly how deeply paranoid wealthy predators conceal psychological chambers within residential homes. The trap snapped violently shut. The exact moment my heavy steel scraper tore through the final layer of thick, yellowed floral wallpaper in the deepest, windowless corner of the basement. The paper didn't reveal standard drywall or concrete. As the heavy strips fell away, my flashlight beamed across a chilling, infinite reflection. All four walls, the solid concrete floor, and even the low ceiling beneath were covered entirely in thousands of shattered, jagged mirror shards, meticulously glued edge to edge into a chaotic, suffocating mosaic. By analyzing the structural geometry and the matching forensic records of our family home, the horrifying, deeply psychotic reality instantly clicked in my brain. This wasn't just a bizarre interior design choice. It was a sensory deprivation and psychological torture chamber our deeply disturbed father had secretly constructed decades ago. And my brother had quietly known about it, planning to rent out the house without disclosing the biohazard. I rapidly captured the high-definition photographic telemetry, sealed the chamber doors, and marched directly back up to the illuminated main floor. My brother was still sitting at the head of the glass table, arrogantly demanding to know if I had finished the grunt work. His triumphant smile instantly vanished when I dropped a heavy bag of shattered mirror glass directly onto his crystal table. I did not yell. I simply slid my secure diagnostic tablet across the glass, displaying the live encrypted federal alert I had just triggered for the immediate discovery of an unlisted, hazardous psychiatric containment room. Because the property was now legally registered as an active forensic code violation under his name, the federal injunction instantly froze his real estate sale, mandated an immediate total property seizure, and left him facing massive criminal negligence charges. All the color instantly drained from his face, leaving him pale, stuttering, and physically shaking as he realized his pristine, impenetrable empire had just been entirely dismantled by the wallpaper-peeling peasant he had humiliated hours ago. I did not wait around to listen to his desperate, frantic excuses, nor did I entertain his pathetic attempts to bribe me to somehow undo the federal transmission. I calmly packed up my specialized diagnostic gear, walked off the terrace without looking back, and left him standing completely alone in the rapidly collapsing ruins of his own manufactured deception. By the time I reached my work truck, a massive fleet of federal investigation vehicles was already surging up the private driveway to breach the gates and permanently seize the estate. By the end of the week, his assets were entirely frozen. The mansion was slated for federal condemnation, and his elite reality was shattered. Watching his fake elite kingdom crumble into dust under the heavy weight of the absolute truth was incredibly satisfying. But I have to ask you, am I the jerk for triggering a massive federal raid without giving him a chance to clean up the room, or did he entirely deserve everything coming to him? Drop your verdict in the comments.